Thank you. It's the Office Journal on Smooth 98.1.
Yes, it's the Office Journal here on Smooth 98.1, where we discuss workplace issues and not just limited to the workplace, everything that makes you as an entrepreneur, as a professional, because who you are outside the workplace will translate to who you are at the workplace. And that's why we're talking about the topic this morning. Very, very important because it's not something that you use only in the workplace, it is encompassing, it transcends the workplace. That said, you are officially again welcome to Office Journal, where we talk about you and everything related to your productivity and yeah, habits generally and all of that. And I usually do not do this alone. I have my special guest already with me joining us via Zoom. If you are streaming live on YouTube, you can see the face of my special guest. And if you want to join the YouTube stream, quickly go to youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Again, smooth 981 FM Lagos. Click on the subscribe notification and the bell and all of that. Just get information anytime we go live so that you do not miss out on every of the educative segments that we have here for you. My guest is a lot of things, but today we are just going to make the designation really short and concise, because if I should read his profile, we will not leave this place in 30 minutes. He's a consultant when it concerns mental health. He's somebody who's all about the advocacy for a balanced, optimum lifestyle and you getting and taking charge of your life, being responsible. He's all about you being a responsible adult. That's a better way to put it. He's a mental health coach, he's an advocate, and also he's a life coach. So imagine merging mental health and life coach. Quite a broad thing. And I wonder how he's able to do it alongside every other thing he's doing. Not to talk much, my guest is Toluse Francis, and he is in charge of Real Consulting. Hello, good morning.
Hello, thanks for having me. Should I say Smooth FM now, or should I say Oluwaseun? Who is hosting me? You or Smooth FM?
We're together in this. How are you doing today?
I'm bouncing. I'm doing pretty well. And you?
I am fine, thank you. The last time you were here, I think we were talking about something related to sleep, or was he snoring now? I don't quite remember.
Yeah, snoring and sleep. I think we merged both.
Yeah, that's why I said he's all about you being a well put together individual, responsible too. He's all about the mental health, wellness, and everything in between. But this morning we're talking about emotional intelligence. As an adult, if you want to call yourself as an adult, call yourself an adult rather, a responsible adult, you need to understand what emotional intelligence entails. Now, in the meantime, you know how you can communicate your questions and your feedback to us. The number is 0809 444 0981. Again, 0809 444 0981. That is the number for WhatsApp. We are not taking calls. So you can also stream live and drop your questions in the chat box. The line is, or rather the chat box of Smooth 91 FM Lagos on YouTube. So let's go to the basics and let's start this conversation as soon as possible. How do you define emotional intelligence?
I think it's simple. If you take the two words, emotional and intelligence, and you merge them together, it's just being intelligent about the emotions of another person. But then,
yeah.
But if you look at it,
are not even in tune with their own emotions.
Yes, right. But then it's simply about you being aware and paying attention to the emotions of other persons, why people behave the way they behave. And not assuming that everyone would behave like you, right? I mean, it helps you to relate and interact with people in a respectful way. It helps you to be able to interact with people in a way that, I mean, they get to understand that you care about them, okay? You recognize various aspects of your feelings and emotions, and you take the time to work on your own self-awareness, your own self-regulation, your motivation, your empathy, your social skills. Now, when you're able to work on these things, it then helps you to, understand other people, basically. So it's more or less like the inside out of an individual, your inside out. So bringing your inside outward. So like I said, you're being aware, you understand, or you know yourself. So if I can explain it to a 5-year-old, I would say emotional intelligence is knowing yourself, understanding yourself, being self-aware, being self-conscious, understanding what your triggers are, understanding what your limitations are, understanding how you express yourself, why you act the way you do. And until you understand that, you would find it difficult to interact with other persons, because if you don't understand yourself, you're not emotionally intelligent, there isn't any way you'll be able to pay attention to the emotions of the other person.
Thank you. That thing you just mentioned, self-awareness, is a very big part. I believe it's a big element of emotional intelligence. So let's start to break it down little by little, bit by bit. How do you embark on the journey of self-awareness?
That's a
I
very
know.
big question, because you can approach it in different ways, right? And from different routes. Sometimes people become aware after a crisis, right? Sometimes people become aware just by sitting down and checking patterns, right? But the truth of the matter is, you become aware as you try to create an identity for yourself, right? You become aware as you sit down to say, you know what, why do I do these things that I do? Why do I behave or react or speak the way that I do? For example, you may realize that you speak in a certain way when you're with certain people. But then you realize that, or you sit down and ask yourself, so why do I do this? Perhaps, and most times, there's an intricate part of you that either questions your person, all right, that questions your person, or that questions who or what you really are. Okay, so being self-aware is about saying, look, this is what I am made of. These things form my being, right? Every fiber of my being is made up of this. I am confident because I realize I'm able to do these things even when there is no support, or even when everyone thinks that's not the way to go, but I'm sure that this is exactly what I want to do. All right. You're able to tell yourself that when I do this, this is what happens to me. So it's either I keep doing this and damn the consequences, or I change the way I do these things. You just simply understand where you stand, where you sit, and how things affect, or the impact that things have on you. And the truth of the matter is, if you're not self-aware, you can't even live a good life as a person, not to talk of with other persons, because your life will be haphazard. I mean, things would happen and you not just swallow them, client and thinker, or you're crying about them, okay? But then, like I said, sometimes challenges come your way, you encounter tough times, and they take you on a journey of self-awareness. But then some people are lucky or fortunate that they become self-aware irrespective of a trauma, irrespective of a hurdle that they face. You know, they just grew up in that environment where affirmative words are said to them. People tell them how smart they are, how beautiful, how intelligent they are, and they really do not need anyone to motivate them or to inspire them. And so they grow up, you know, accepting themselves for who they are, being self-aware. Whereas for some person, maybe they were maybe not, they didn't know themselves until they were 30 years of age, you know, because all their lives been bumpy and bumpy and bumpy, you know, or they are lived in an environment where nobody said anything good about them, you know, until one day they realize that, boom, man, I've been living my life on an edge all this while. So this is why this happens, you know, and then they begin that journey of self-awareness. But I would like to say, as I wrap up on that question, that self-awareness is a journey, right? Because as you grow older, a whole lot of things happen, and then you begin to discover yourself. You truly do not discover yourself in a space of 10, 20, 30 years, because some experiences, right, haven't occurred when you were 10, when you were 20, when you were 30, right? Something will hit you when you're 40, and then realize that, okay, so this happened, and then you begin to adjust. So it's a journey, right, that everyone will travel through. Some start earlier than others, some start later than others, but as you travel on the journey of life, self-awareness begins and continues until the day you finally quit your life, or your life quits you.
That sounds dark.
Don't mind me.
While you muse on that, let's take a breather. And when we come back, in case you missed it when he was explaining, he will say it again clearly why you need to be self-aware. You're listening to Office Journal here on Smooth 98.1. You just said it like that until life quits you. Why so dark? Why so blunt? Oh my days. I was musing openly on Saturday that why do people get scared of death?
Right.
And because we know this is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking that people are worried. It's uncertainty. A number of people are not sure what happens to them after death. Life is what they have known for the better part of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Living, going out, the people, friends, and all of that. They are not sure of what happens when they die. If there is a judgment, if there is hell, if you're going to hell. So they're worried of dying in the wrong states.
I think that's one end, but I think the other end is the experience that people have had, the roughness, the tough time, and they're just like, so let me put it this way. Some of this picture of the afterlife, of if you die in a certain way, there's punishment that awaits you in a certain way. If you don't do this, so that fear of, man, let's say the way we say it in Nigeria, or more, if I die like this, or more, a punishment, and stuff like that. So that also is a factor. But again, if you look at it, who really wants to die? Or who even really wants to lose someone? Even if someone of 150 years of age passes on, people will still mourn, because we are social beings, right? We always want to be with the people that we love. And so that detachment, the fear of detachment is real.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you don't know where you're going to, you don't know what happens after now. So even if where you are right now on earth is stuff, you still want to remain on earth because you've seen people that you love, people that you care about.
Yeah, we're going
every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 a.m.
Smoother than a fresh.
And I bet this talk is even smoother. That's why you have to stay tuned. We are talking about you as an adult, as an individual, because I believe, can children be emotionally aware or intelligent?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said, I was saying that one of the reasons they need to stay tuned is because, of course, as an adult, you need to be emotionally intelligent. And the question popped up in my mind: can children be emotionally intelligent?
Of course, they can. If you
self-aware.
If you live with these new generational kids, you'll be amazed at the kind of conversations, the kind of questions that they ask you. Because the kind of system or the kind of teachings that they receive, the kind of content that they consume, right? For those who take in intelligent content, it helps them ask questions. And that's what the journey to self-awareness does. It forces you to ask questions. Why? How? What if? Why not? And a host of other things. So if you relate with them and children born in this era of 2000, you'd be amazed at the things. I was on a trip one day with a friend of mine who had a niece with us. And we're just talking normally. And she was like, why are you shy? And I mean, we need to ask, like, where did that come from? And so because of the things that they consume, right, and the kind of conversations that they hear adults have, they begin to question a whole lot of things. And that is where their journey of emotional intelligence and self-awareness. And then they're teaching them things like 5 magic words. Please excuse me, sorry, thank you, and the last one, pardon me. And so you're telling a 5-year-old child, bring that thing for me, and she's telling you, you've not said the word. And like, what word? Like, you've not said the magic word because you've not said please. All right. And then you say, please, could you? And they're like, please bring that. And like, no, that's not how to say it. Please, could you help me? Like, you should ask for help. Right. And then when you're finally giving the stuff you ask him or her to bring, there's that question of, so what do you say? The child is expecting a thank you, So that journey of self-awareness and emotional intelligence is starting faster than it started for those who are in their 20s and 30s. And you realize that even this is coming into the workplace, all right, where we hear things like Gen Z, the millennials, there's that battle for supremacy, there's that battle for respect. Okay, where one generation will tell you that I'm the adult here, I'm the older one here, you should respect me. And the other will tell you that respect is reciprocal. You respect me and I respect you. This stuff is too much for me. So yes, I mean, like I said, emotional intelligence has no age barrier, because you see some persons that will think that because of how old this person is, such a fellow should be emotionally intelligent, and boom, you would listen to conversations, you would see reactions and actions, and you'd be shocked, like, okay, this is a smart move. So that's nothing to do with age. You only get better, actually. But I mean, you can start at any age.
Very, very explanatory. Thank you.
Oh, let me draw an example that I like to use when I want to discuss this. So you're breastfeeding a baby, right? And the baby is being carried by another woman that's not the mother. Who tells the baby where the breast is?
The baby already knows.
How? From the first time, right?
Yeah.
But the baby doesn't know. Sometimes when a man carries the baby, doesn't really know if it's male or female at first. But then, after a while, the baby can deduce that this person carrying me doesn't have the breast that has milk to give to me, and maybe keeps crying. But the moment a woman carries the child, whether the mother or not, the baby just realizes that there's this breast that looks like the one of my mother, and I can actually go there. Who teaches them? Who taught them? Nobody. It's the awareness that, okay, there's this feel that comes when this person carries, and there's just something about this other gender that this other gender doesn't have, and realize that at some point that the child is not afraid of walking naked, and carrying the John Thomas and everything up and down. But then one day realizes that, no, the same child that you've been bathing with the sister will tell you, mommy, I need my privacy. So it's just something that the environment either teaches you, right, or you sit down to teach yourself, or circumstances helps you to learn.
Thank you very much. We have been breaking down the topic, at least the basics, the foundation of emotional intelligence, and that took us into self-awareness. And the topic for today's office journal is emotional intelligence in the workplace. Yes, I know you're already twitching and waiting. What about the workplace part? But if you're already listening, you can figure part of it in there. But before we go into that, my guest is Toluse Francis, and he is a life and mental health coach. Now, that said, you can send your thought and contribution to WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. I do have a very interesting question, though. Now, we have been talking about self-awareness. Everything that has an advantage has a disadvantage. So what are the disadvantages of self-awareness?
I can either confirm or deny. I don't say something and then my guys at the top will say something else. I am not of the opinion that there is a disadvantage to emotional intelligence or self-awareness. But what I would like to say is it could be misused, or it could make you become very spooky, if I can use that word. So you may become very suspicious of everything. You may become very suspicious of everything around you just because you're emotionally alert, you're emotionally smart. You may become very suspicious of every move and then when people do things, it's very easy for you to assume that this is what they are doing, or this is what they are trying to do, or they are trying to say, So you must also tread with caution. You must remind yourself that there is a place of discernment, right, when it comes to emotional intelligence or self-awareness. It is not everything that you, what word can I use? It's not everything that you act upon. There's a time to speak, there's a time to keep quiet, right? There's a time to ask questions, and there's a time to refrain from asking questions. So it's one of the things that you're expected to learn, or they're expected to grow to learn on the journey of what we call EQ, which is emotional intelligence, and on the journey of self-awareness. That look, the fact that I know something, or the fact that something is happening, doesn't mean that I need to talk about it every time. So I wouldn't call it a disadvantage. I would say it has its side where wisdom needs to be applied in the usage or in the application of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. And again, you may not learn this quickly, right? You might end up learning this in a subtle way, or maybe when you goof and you are corrected, and like, okay, so this is how it works on this journey, So yeah, I would see that as the advantage actually.
Thank you. So going further, according to Daniel Goleman, one of the American psychologists that helped to popularize this emotional intelligence gospel, according to him, aside self-awareness, you have self-regulation, you have motivation, you have empathy, you have social skills. So let's touch on that while we now fix in the workplace.
So if you look at those things that you highlighted, so look at it this way. You have a tree. I always like to use something very relative. So you have a tree, and the tree has branches, right? So emotional intelligence is the body. So it's just about emotional intelligence, that's the body. Empathy, self-awareness, and all of that form the branches of emotional intelligence. Now, it is the right application of those branches. Okay, no, let me not divert. It is the right intake of the right nutrients from the branches or the leaves that gives the tree its nutrients. Now, as the tree takes the nutrients in, either from the sun or from the soil, it ends up giving a robust plant. So if the tree is drawing up nutrients from the soil, the branches through the leaves are drawing up sun and water into the tree. Everything comes together to give you a well-nurtured tree. So when you talk about emotional intelligence, you have self-awareness. You're self-aware, you're aware of who you are, you understand yourself. You have empathy, you have developed that skill of empathy. And the other branches, like you mentioned, it gives you an emotionally intelligent individual who not only understands himself, right, but also is able to show empathy to others, is able to be patient to learn of other persons, is able to relate with other persons in a social gathering, knows what to say and what not to say, how to dress for a certain event and how not to dress, understand or learn social norms. So in the end, they all form the branches that makes up an emotionally intelligent individual. And again, it is possible for a person not to be 100% in all of those things, right? Because we grow, okay? But then it helps that you have a bit of all of them, and that you're conversant, or you're sure, or you're aware of where you're lacking or where you're lagging behind, and you work towards developing that aspect. Some persons are very self-aware, but they have poor social skills. They talk anyhow in public, talk to anyone, So even if that happens, if your social skills are poor, but you're very self-aware, the people that you're interacting with will not see your self-awareness. They're seeing your social skill. So they will term it as this person is not emotionally intelligent. Right? If your social skills are dope, your self-awareness is dope, but you lack empathy, it will reflect in the things that you say to people and how you manage or handle situations.
That
so
is
at the end of the day,
complex.
You said?
I said that is quite complex.
Yes, because at the end of the day, it is your actions and your reactions that people see, not your thoughts. It's your behavior that people see, not your thought. You know, how you present yourself, how you approach issues, how you attend to people. That is how people rate you, not how you think. Because how you think is reflective in how you speak or the things that you say. So nobody is inside you. Nobody knows your thoughts or your feelings.
And this is the part where we have to go and visit the Tree of Time and come back after this break. This is Office Journal here on Smooth 98.1.
They call me M.I. Mr. Incredible, short black boy.
We have 3 more minutes. And when we come back, we just wrap up with what emotional intelligence looks like in the office, in the workplace. What you will see from an individual in the workplace, a leader, a colleague, an HR manager. What you'll see in them and say, okay, this person is emotionally intelligent, even if you don't necessarily know all those branches of the tree.
Visit www.jobberman.com.
Emotional intelligence in the workplace is a big deal, actually.
It is.
And it's something that is not just only your guy that should learn it. Everyone should, whether you're a manager or you're not. We all need it. We need it for the existence of our humanity. We need for this because in the end, if you think that because you're a manager to someone at the workplace, you'd end up carrying that mindset where you're interacting with peers outside. You are not emotionally intelligent or self-aware. What led us to the toxic bosses stage? Even when you mean well, how you say it goes along. And that's where empathy comes in. How do you say the things that you say?
You'll find everything you need and more.
They usually say that, they often say that you can tell someone go to hell and the person will look forward to going to hell.
Yeah, that's the power of emotional intelligence.
Yes, because you can paint it and brandish it like, wow, is hell that beautiful?
Why don't you take a walk to somewhere that looks like the tropics with all the warmth and the heat? You could be kept cozy.
And that's why I listen to Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. I am Ola Onabule.
We got you covered, and that's why we're talking about something that relates to you. This is Office Journal here on Smooth 98.1. We are discussing at length the topic of emotional intelligence, and it has been a very insightful one. But you know how treacherous time can be. It's never enough when you're having conversations like this. Not to worry, though, we have been able to establish some fact, and that is you need to be self-aware and incorporate the other things. Emotional intelligence is quite a big and deep-rooted tree. Empathy, social skills, and all of that are very important. And it's a journey. You are never perfect, but do not worry. You have to embark on the journey first. My guest has been Toluse Francis. He's a life and mental health coach. So what does emotional intelligence look like in the workplace?
Emotional intelligence in the workplace is simple. It's just basically understanding that all individuals are not the same, and you pay attention to each person and try to understand each person. So the workplace is grouped into teams, departments, right? And you don't have to be the leader of the pack for you to practice emotional intelligence at work. Do you notice a change in the appearance of a person? Do you notice a gloomy look from someone who naturally is always the life of the party? Do you notice the tone of the email of a person. Now you have noticed that. How do you approach the person? Because in the end, one of the greatest tools that is needed in the workplace is self-awareness and empathy. I mean, I will not put social skills that much because it's not a social gathering, but if you're able to show some empathy, the social skills will reflect. So how do you say things to people? Even as a manager, as a boss, as a team lead, how do you ask your team members that you want this done, you want that done, and they would rush to do it? Or are you such a person that the moment they hear you're coming, everybody is running to their desk? You're not going to build a culture where people will look forward to coming to work. Do you listen to feedback? Or do you think that you are a monopoly of knowledge? Do you accept the fact that you don't know and ask them, hey guys, so I've been wondering about this thing, what do you guys think? Do you engage them in conversation? Do you even give room, okay, for them to even walk up to you to have a conversation with you? So at the end of the day, you realize that emotional intelligence in the workplace is a whole lot more than just understanding your employees or understanding your teammates. It's about you yourself. How do you present yourself to the people you work with? Are you approachable as a team member, as a team lead? Are you open to feedback? Do you take offense at everything, or do you ask questions? I used to say that and HR managers can come for me for that. One of the ways to show emotional intelligence is to allow people to go on leave.
How do you mean?
What they do with their leave is their business. But if the offer letter states that they're entitled to leave and it's clearly stated when, then allow them go. Because if I come to say I want to go on leave, emotional intelligence tells you that this person needs this time off work to deal with certain things, personal, emotional. It doesn't really matter, And when they come back, can you ask, how did your leave go? Hope you rested. Hope you had fun. Hope it was worth it, right? It shows that you care. Emotional intelligence is not selfish, but it's also not extravagant.
Boundaries.
Yeah, it's not selfish. It's just not extravagant. So you're looking out for yourself while you're looking out for someone. You don't neglect yourself in the name of you want to care or show empathy towards someone. You don't expect an organization to be emotionally intelligent at the detriment of the work. I was having a conversation with an HR manager, and I saw one tweet where they said someone came back from leave, pregnant, from maternity leave, pregnant, and I was asking her, so would you deny this person maternity leave again? And she shared something. She was like, that's why there's got to be a handbook that stipulates how this thing. Because if you go on mat leave and you come back pregnant and you're expecting the organization to be emotionally intelligent, is it my fault that I got pregnant? Hello?
I can't even wrap my head around that. What happened?
Who does the work? Who does the work while you're away? So the company comes to say, you know what, no problem. We'll give you the mat leave, but you're not going to be paid for it. We're not saying you wouldn't go, but you're not going to be paid for it. And then you come and you're screaming, they don't care, they don't do this. Come on. So at the end of the day, everyone in the workplace needs to understand who they're working with, needs to understand the nature of the kind of work that they do, and understand that, okay, can I handle this? Can I cope with that? How can I help the person next to me to do this work better? No competition. Just see yourself as a team. The moment you begin to compete, you'll be looking for how to bring the other person down. I'm not sure if I answered the question correctly.
Oh, it was really great. Thank you so much. You really helped to summarize everything succinctly. So thank you, and we look forward to more conversations with you. It was a rich time tapping from your wealth of knowledge for free. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time.
Thanks,
and you can catch up with Toluse on social media, and That will be Toluse Francis on Twitter and Instagram. That is Toluse Francis, Francis, I believe. He's called the mentalist for a lot of reasons, and I believe that you've been able to get a sneak peek into his mind. So yes,
You
reach
can
out
check
to
me on
him.
YouTube as well.
Oh yes, you heard the man. Check him out on YouTube, The Mentalist. Yes.
Yeah.
Aha. All right. Thank you, Lagos. Thank you, Nigeria. Thank you, the rest of the world. This stream, the live stream of this conversation, will be on YouTube for you to go back to check. And yes, you have a regard. Somebody is saying extending regards to you on WhatsApp. Thank you so much, Wilson, for extending regards to Toluse. He has received that. We will be back with more music. No, we will be back with more music. We continue with the music here on Strictly Soul. It's all about the soulful sound from now until 1 p.m. And I am going out with this one from Macy Gray, Sweet Baby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'll send the video to you.
You're still streaming?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for making it possible. Cheers to another time. Since she said you're readily available, I'll reach out.